Welcome to the Redvee TV preview show, supported by A-Star Recruitment for the 2021 season. As we look ahead to the round 22 clash this bank holiday Monday against the Warrington Wolves at the Halliwell Jones Stadium. As Warrington bid for their first trophy of the season, their only trophy of the season, the We Beat Saints Twice in a Season trophy.
Love winding them up, don't you?
It's true though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are we expecting same old from Warrington? Lying on the floor at every opportunity, breaking up play, feigning injury when Saints are within 5 metres of the line, and then miraculously getting up and rejoining the defensive line? Is that the standard?
Is there any reasons to suggest that won't happen? Is there any reason to suggest the game won't be slowed down? Any reasons to suggest that they won't just try playing a normal game? Not really. I think Saints, to be fair to them, they've had our number over the past couple of years. I think we're the only team that they beat on a regular basis because they go over to the likes of Wakefield and get turned over. And it's almost like they gear the season up to making sure that they beat us. Which
is that it, Kev? Are they raising the game? Because, well, we are essentially their cup final most seasons.
A player has actually said that when teams turn up, not necessarily about Warrington, but when teams turn up to play Saints, they don't tend to try and match us because we're back-to-back champions now. They don't tend to try and match us. They tend to try and drag us down to their level. And a player has actually said that, and I've heard it like literally firsthand. That's not somebody telling me a story. That is literally what a player has said. And listen, it's true when you've won the league twice, you're a scalp, aren't you? You're a team to aim for. You people just want to get that notch on the belt and turn around and say, yeah, we've turned over the current back-to-back champions. So teams do up the game against us. Whether that's they put a bit of intensity. I mean, we see Lee on Thursday, where I think, as we said, it was symptomatic of Lee's season. They play really well with a lot of energy for 50, 60 minutes and then tail off. And teams do try and stay with us. But that plan A that we always talk about tends to be that when teams try and stay with us like that, we've blown away in the last 20. When teams try and slow it down so it's not high intensity and high energy, then because, as we've said in the past, we've got the best strength and conditioning team in the league for me. It's not possible for us to then blow teams away in the last 20 because teams have slowed the game down, turned it into an arm wrestle, turned it into a bit of a scrap, a bit of a grubbier game. I'd rather both teams kind of went out and played rugby league. They started getting involved in, and even dragging us down to that level of talking about it. Just get on with playing the game.
That said, if we know what they're going to do we have to be better than that as a club with the coaching on Monday nights? We know what's going to come on us. We need to have come up with a solution on how we're going to counter that.
Yeah. For the past years, we need to go out with a different game plan. And I know we've got our plan A that we go to and we stick with and we're confident of it. But we need a very big start, because if we go out and score 3 tries in the first 20 minutes without them replying, it's a big ask, but it's just an example. If we go out, score, we're 18-0 up after 20 minutes, then they've got to change their game, which might fall into our hands a little bit more. So we need a big start. Obviously, we'll get onto the squads in a minute, but there's a platform that needs to be laid. And that's potentially what we need to do, go out all guns blazing first up. I know that's happened in the past and we've kind of fallen away. I mean, if you look back at that cup final where we were the better team and then because we weren't getting through, we started panicking. We just need to stick to the plan, but it needs to be better against these. Unless we're lulling them into a false sense of security, get them in a grand final, change it and absolutely wallop them in front of everybody. Who knows?
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
Right, squad. There you go. A couple of players returning. Obviously, Mark Percival back in the 21, as is Tommy Makinson after a couple of weeks' rest.
Yeah, that's good to see, isn't it? Them two give no regard to their own well-being when they're taking it back in. When you're in a defensive setting, you've got to try and make good meters. So hopefully they'll bring a little bit of that back to the team. That obviously the 1 to 5, they're all going to play. There'll be no surprises there unless somebody is carrying a little bit of a knock. Like one of the Kutnagama or Grace, who if they've got a little bit of a knock, but I just can't see it because I look at the rest of that squad and it just suggests to me that there's no other real backs there who would fit into that 1 to 5, especially with the big news of Johnny Lomax missing out, because it's going to be a very, very young half-back pairing, I think.
Can that potentially work in your favour, though? It's a bit of an unknown quantity for Warrington to face. Obviously, Johnny Lomax and Theo Fars did have faced that combination a number of times over the last couple of years, and I've had a game plan on how to deal with them. But Jack Wellesby and Lewis Dodd playing together, it's a combination that they won't have seen before, at least at first team level.
Yeah, I think they've put a lot of work through the halfbacks defensively. I think they'll target them. So that's then on our forwards to lay a bit of a platform. That's what I'm talking about when I said we were going to come up to the squads in a minute. That's where we've got to lay the platform. We've just got to be stronger than them in the forwards, in exit sets, and kind of taking the game to them. You're right, it's an unknown quantity. Both players like taking on the line, keeping defences interested. Wellesby likes going across the line and popping players through gaps. So they'll be wary of that because of how we've played. I had a discussion with someone on Twitter over the past day or two because of the fact that Jack Wellesby hasn't played in one position all year. It's almost hard to set a game plan to him because they've not really seen him at 6, a half at Wembley, and the last half an hour on Thursday. How can you set a game plan to someone who you don't know how they're going to play a full 80 at 6? It'll be tough. But I think one of their plans will be send big men through the channels of your defending halfbacks, try and tire them out. And as I say, that's why we've just got to be strong in the second rows and centres and wingers have got to help them out there.
Who misses out for you from that squad? I'd go Wingfield, Davis, Amor, Smith.
Yeah, that's the 4 that I've written down. I think you can name that team probably with the exception of one of the second rowers. Coop Makinson, Nagama, Percival, Grace, Wellesby, Dodd, Walmsley, Roby, probably Lees, Bentley and Knowles, and then your starting second rower could be any one of 3. It could be Thompson, could be because he missed out against Lee. It could be Batchelor because he's done very well when he's played, or it could be Sione Matautia. So it could be any one of them who plays. Knowles at loose forward, if I haven't already mentioned him. So I think you can pretty much name your squad from that. I don't think there'll be any surprises unless we're doing the old trick of the Sunday with a little bit of a knock. Yeah,
obviously, big week for both sides coming up. With Magic coming up at the weekend, next weekend. The Warrington squad, a couple of players miss out for them.
Yeah, no Blake Austin, no Josh Charnley. I see something this morning. I didn't know if it was mocked up. Blake Austin asking why Josh Charnley had blocked him on Instagram. I don't know if there's a little bit of disharmony there. If there's I don't know if Austin's injured at the minute. Listen, Charnley does like a try against us, but they've still got more than enough there. I mean, you look back at that performance at the Totally Wicked earlier this season, and they've come up and done a number on us because, listen, I don't think we were great that day.
I think my biggest disappointment with that, looking at that squad, Kev, is that they're more than capable of trying to play rugby league instead of trying to lie on the floor and milk time off the clock.
Yeah, absolutely right. Absolutely right. They've got some great players in there. That's it. When you look at Blake Austin, I think he's been coming off the bench. Obviously, Widdop and Williams are their halfback partnership, a very, very, very good half-back partnership. Yet they've got some players. I mean, I'm looking at two. I'm looking at Tom Lynham. We know what Tom Lynham can do, not necessarily in an attacking sense. You look at just the likes of Darrell Clark running in from dummy half, that James Roby's been known for all over the years. Stefan Ratchford can run a game. Ben Curry's a great player on his day. Mike Cooper's a great player on his day. Matty Ashton's got pace to burn if he gets in the team. There's more than enough there. There's lads I've probably left out there who can do just as good a job at them if they've got to get in there. And that's why it is disappointing that you get teams who kind of scrap around with you and drag you down instead of just playing a game that they're capable of beating us just playing rugby league. And if they beat us playing rugby league, you hold your hands up to it and you say they're the better team on the day.
It's like naming no names in that squad. You know, there's at least one on there who is probably going to go off at some point in the game for a HIA, and be passed and come back perfectly well. Listen, and you know what? It's up to the officials to be wise to it, and the game itself to be wise to it as well, isn't it? And prevent this stuff from happening. But it's hard. It's
tough. Yeah, it's tough because it's almost like the burden of proof. And listen, it'll be the one week that they don't take that player off for a HIA and something serious happens. So it's at best unfortunate when you say you can look at, without naming names, you can look at a player on there and kind of know who it is. And I know we've not even discussed this before, and I don't know we're looking at the same player.
Listen, maybe we're completely and utterly wrong. It just seems awfully coincidental.
Well, as I say, at the worst, it's very unfortunate that he keeps copping these knocks, and you don't want to be bringing kind of players' reputations down. But when you just see what's happened and hear anecdotally what's happening and know that teams have been warned about it, you just think, you do wonder what's going on. Is he an unlucky player? Is he just one of them who keeps getting banjoed every week? He just gets targeted. He could be, mate. He could be. I suppose it's one of them. Does it only happen around interchange times in games? No comment.
It's a question. But yes, no gamesmanship, we hope we don't see it. We don't like it creeping into the sport. But yeah. Right.
Yeah.
It is a big week, Kev, isn't it? Obviously, we are looking up and trying to finish top. Obviously, even if we win all our games, including the Catalan at Magic, we still need Catalan to drop some points. But equally, if we lose tomorrow and lose to Catalan at Magic, Warrington could potentially leapfrog us into that second spot on the table, because they're playing Wigan, which is obviously going to be an easy 2 points for them at Magic. Salford at home, another easy 2 points. Castleford away, which probably, even though it's 50-50, if the chances are they can finish second and Castleford are maybe out of it by that point, you could see Warrington winning the last three. So tomorrow is massive for us. Make sure we win and pretty much essentially guarantee a top 2 spot at worst. But if we lose tomorrow, the pressure's on for Magic.
You say that about the likes of Castleford as well, but Castleford have played for contracts, some of them. Got a new coach coming in next year. So I don't necessarily think the team who are just going to sit down and let it all happen. Warrington, as I say, Warrington have the propensity to go through this league unbeaten. They've got the players to do that. And they definitely have. But they also go to the likes of Wakefield away and get turned over. And I'm getting absolutely banjoed over there and have to try and make a valiant comeback. So it's not all done and dusted. But you're right, it's a massive week because we're playing two of our closest rivals league position-wise. And we need to get a win out of at least one of these games. Ideally, Mondays. Because you know what, I think Catalan are too far away from us at the top. I think that they're going to win more games or the same amount of games that we will.
Yeah, I think for us to finish above Catalan, assuming if we win out, Catalan would have to lose to either Lee or Huddersfield at home or
Not happening.
Wigan away. Definitely not happening.
Not happening. Not happening. So that's it.
So tomorrow is basically just to see who comes second, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and that's it. There's only like, just going back to the squad with Lomax out, there's only like 6 weeks left of the season. Something like 6 weeks left. So with the likes of Johnny Lomax out, that's potentially a big one for the whole of the season for Saints. Because if it is a hamstring injury, we know it's not something that you can really do too much about, is it? It's not
Time,
like you can.
Time, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So 6 weeks. I mean, does it put him out for the season? Potentially, it does. In 6 weeks, if it doesn't respond to any treatment or doesn't respond to rest, it's a big one, and it's a big one for us to then go through the rest of the season with 2 young lads at halfback, and that's where
it's equally. It potentially comes a big risk as well if he is close to match fitness. Throwing him in to a playoff game raw after a long layoff. So yeah, it's a conundrum for the club. Obviously, Bank Holiday Monday. The weather looks glorious. There's no reason why it shouldn't be a nice big crowd tomorrow at the Halliwell Jones, and I'm sure that away end they'll be having a party at Wide Away.
Yeah, well, judging by my Twitter, my personal Twitter timeline, it seems like a lot of people that I follow are buzzing for it. Some have even taken Tuesday off, if only to have the holidays from work to do that. Yeah, some people have taken Tuesday off, looking at getting on it. Hopefully, a good atmosphere, as good as the Wigan game. Just get absolutely behind them, and I'm sure they will.
At worst, at least the game will be competitive.
Yeah, hopefully. You say that now. Do you not remember? Was it 19-0? Mind you, they should have beat us by more on that day as well. They should have absolutely battered us on that day when Alex Walmsley pulled out. That should have been the catalyst to say we're putting 40 on these, and it was 19. If
anybody wants to go back and watch that instant fan reaction video, it is in our timeline somewhere. We were stood outside the Halliwell Jones on that occasion saying, "That's rubbish from Warrington."
Yeah. I'd have been gutted with all the beaten by 19.
Okay. Predictions for tomorrow then, Kev?
Close one. Saints by 2.
Saints by 56. No.
No.
Saints by 10.
Okay.
Assuming we can get past.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I am being full Matt Lawrenson here. I'm not backing against a Saints victory like he does with Liverpool. I don't think Liverpool have lost in about 6 years or something, or they hadn't before last season with him picking. Well, it's going to be the same for me because, as we keep saying, 100% biased, don't care. These are Redvee tinted specs, and they always will be.
If anybody wants a little bit of a laugh after they've watched this video, just go into our comments because some of the Warrington fans will be there going, we're going to win.
I think they may well do.
Brilliant.
They should do them at home. Yeah, they should do them at home.
You two, Saints fans.
As somebody actually said, one of the Warrington fans actually said in the comments or on Twitter or something, "I ate that Dave Lyon." I'm sure I read that once. I was laughing.
Can I have that on a badge?
Yeah, I'll make you one. I'll get you one made.
I hate Dave Lyon.
Yeah.
What a box here if you want some of them.
Yeah, I think it was your missus.
It is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Doing our jobs, aren't we? If anybody hates Kev Pender, please put it in the comments below.
I'll do it myself when you upload this.
Right. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll catch you for a Saints victory outside the Halliwell Jones Stadium tomorrow night. And if we don't, we'll still be there. Catch you soon.